So a couple takeaways that I'm hearing from that I think that are really key is that even if the diet is controlled and everyone's eating the same calories in the case of the laboratory animals, and then we'll extrapolate it to human beings, you might see a moderate increase in weight gain from the animals that had the sugar, but really all the other markers of health that you had mentioned, those were headed in the wrong direction, even though the animal wasn't gaining weight. So same thing, you could have a human being that's eating a diet that's high in fructose, whether that's high fructose corn syrup, but also even fruit juices, which we're going to get into in a second. There's a lot of people that are listening to this podcast are like, well, I don't really have a lot of high fructose corn syrup in my diet. Well, do you drink fruit juice? And that could be a little bit problematic. Not fruits necessarily, but fruit juice. We'll talk about that in a second. So even if you're not gaining weight, you could still develop a whole host of issues like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I had a friend of mine who just texted me the other day, and he's in his early 40s, healthy young guy who, healthy from what somebody would say from the outside. They'd look at him and say, he looks pretty good. He's not overweight, right? He's got a little bit of muscle. He works out, other things. And he texted me and he said, dude, we got to talk. I just got diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Like, I want any kind of resources or doctors that you think I should talk to. Like, how the heck is this happening? And he's vegetarian, he's for religious reasons, other things like that. So in his eyes, he's thinking that he's eating a healthy diet. And how is he ended up with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which we'll chat about in a second. So just incredibly profound to see that even if you're eating a diet that's high in sugar, and there's plenty of people that are out there that are, especially with fructose, they're like, look at me, I'm fine. I'm not overweight. I'm not obese. But that doesn't actually mean that you're healthy on the inside when we look at some of the key markers that are there.
Absolutely right, Drew. That's absolutely right. In fact, we published on fatty liver in lean subjects, and we've found that they often have a high uric acid, and so and we know that the uric acid is involved in the mechanism by which fatty liver is developing, and usually there is some source of fructose, and but it doesn't absolutely have to be fructose because you can generate the uric acid other ways as well. But you're right. Fruit juices is one of the secret causes of fatty liver that's not appreciated.
So really what I'm hearing from you on the takeaway of that is that fruit can be and should be a healthy part of a what would be our modern well-balanced diet, right? As long as we're not drinking our calories. Really, that's
Right.
one of the biggest takeaways that I've gotten from your work, whether that comes in the form of sodas or other things, but also in the form of natural sugars that contain high amounts of fructose, like fruit juices or fruit smoothies. It's amazing that even many people that are my friends, again, well-intentioned, are making these incredible smoothies each morning where they put a lot of great stuff in, and they might throw in enough fruit or coconut water or fruit juices that if you look at the sugar content and the fructose content of this smoothie that they're having, it rivals many sodas that are out
Yeah.
there. And when they wear a continuous glucose monitor, they see as big a spike, if not a bigger spike, on that smoothie that's loaded with fructose than they would on drinking like a bottle of Coca-Cola.
Absolutely. So yeah, fruit juice. I mean, like apple juice is probably the same sugar content as a soft drink, and so there's a huge amount of fructose in fruit juice, and also dried fruit. Dried fruit also is a lot of it is sugar. We love dried fruit. I mean, who doesn't like dried fruit? It tastes so good, but the trouble is it's a lot of it is fructose, and a lot of the good things have been removed. So I don't recommend that either.